Washington een jaar geleden. De eerste zwarte president in de geschiedenis van de Verenigde Staten legt de eed af.
Are you prepared to take the oath, Senator? I am. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Barack Obama wordt gezien als een symbool van verzoening tussen de verschillende rassen. Maar niet door iedereen. Tussen het enthousiaste publiek staat een groep demonstranten met een afwijkende boodschap.
Obama, he's Antichrist. He's going to receive a mortal wound as soon as he's revealed as Antichrist. The brightness of the Lord's coming will be upon us, and he'll be cast into hell forever. So his reign is going to be very, very short.
Er zal snel een einde komen aan het presidentschap van Obama, voorspellen de demonstranten. En dat dit geen loos dreigement is, bleek afgelopen jaar al. Tot nu toe zijn minstens 5 moordaanslagen op Obama verijdeld. Bijvoorbeeld van deze 2 neonazies uit Tennessee. Maar zijn het geïsoleerde gevallen? De vraag is, hoe groot is de groep racisten die het niet kan uitstaan dat er een zwarte man in het Witte Huis zit? We beginnen onze reis in Springfield, Missouri. Een ultraconservatief stadje met vooral blanke inwoners. Elke vrijdagavond organiseren neonazies een publieke discussie in de bibliotheek.
I would like all innocent members and supporters to please rise. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children.
Our forefathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, heroes, great men, men that we can look up to, emulate. People that they barely speak about in our history classes anymore, because we have to hear about the communist Martin Luther King, or we have to hear about the great savior Obama. This is one of our newest guy here in the area.
My motivation was just to help secure our race and for furtherment of our people and keep our blood clean, in a sense.
How old are you?
21.
Het is de vraag hoeveel jongeren zijn gerekruteerd door extreemrechtse groeperingen sinds de verkiezing van Obama. We gaan naar Alabama en bezoeken het hoofdkantoor van de SPLC, een organisatie die de activiteiten van extremisten in kaart brengt.
For the last 6 or 7 years, we have seen hate groups in this country grow by almost 50%. And the reason has been entirely based on their exploitation of the issue of illegal immigration. Now we have something quite new out there. We have the election of a black man to the White House. In addition, we have an economy that is in terrible shape, with unemployment absolutely certain to get worse in the coming months. And we still have quite high levels of non-white immigration. So yes, it's a worrying moment because you have all of these things coming together.
Extreem rechts is altijd sterk geweest in het zuiden van Amerika, de fundamentalistische Bible Belt. Harrison, Arkansas heeft 1 kerk per 10 inwoners. Hier zie je praktisch geen zwarte Amerikaan op straat. 99% van de inwoners van Harrison is wit. Een ideale plek voor de Ku Klux Klan, het symbool van racistisch Amerika. Het hoofdkwartier van de Klan staat een paar kilometer buiten Harrison. Pastoor Thomas Robb is de directeur van de Ridders van de Ku Klux Klan sinds 1981.
It's made out of 4 Ks. If you can kind of visualize, like that part covered, and you see the K here. You understand?
Okay.
So you got 4 Ks, and it stands for Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, made into a shape of a cross, and then the center is a drop of blood representing what we feel is the most valuable thing we have.
Rob ontvangt ons in pak, maar de normale kleding van de Ku Klux Klan is een wit kleed met hoofdkap.
You look very different today from those in the picture.
We want to be accessible to people. You know, the robe, sometimes people are intimidated by the robes. If I wear a robe, you know, go out someplace, even at our, say, meetings, it's intimidating. There's no point in it. And, you know, so they're worn at a cross-lighting ceremony.
Het internet is het nieuwste wapen van Rob. De website van de Ku Klux Klan blijkt veel mensen te trekken.
How many people connected after the Barack Obama election?
There's so many people trying to get to the front door. They shut our site down. See, this is why those people that are against it, this is what they're afraid of. They're fearful. They're not fearful of us. They know that we're small. They're fearful of the potential we have. If I was a radical waving a gun in the air and looking, snarling and chewing tobacco, they would say to themselves, oh, the American people are never going to listen to that guy. So there's no concern, no worry.
The Ku Klux Klan has a really violent past. And violent
It has a
image.
violent image created by Hollywood.
So you're saying that the Ku Klux Klan doesn't have a violent past?
No, I don't have a violent past.
Maar wat moeten we dan denken van deze ceremonie die Rob een paar maanden voor ons bezoek organiseerde? Een ritueel dat niet veranderd is sinds de Klan werd opgericht meer dan een eeuw geleden. Dezelfde hoofdkappen en brandende kruisen die Klanleden tot in de jaren 60 gebruikten tijdens het lynchen van zwarten. Pastoor Rob zegt dat geweld iets van het verleden is. Maar raciaal geweld is zeker nog niet uitgebannen in het zuiden. Zo bleek bijvoorbeeld in Paris in de staat Texas. In dit stadje is de scheiding tussen de verschillende rassen nog altijd actueel. Een deel van het stadje is wit en rijk. Het andere deel is zwart en arm. Het geweld tegen zwarten heeft diepe littekens achtergelaten bij de zwarte gemeenschap. Brenda Cherry is burgerrechtenactiviste. Ze laat ons plekken zien waar het geweld heeft plaatsgevonden. Vroeger, maar ook recent.
This is a fairgrounds right over here. In the 1920s, it was a place for lynchings, and there were 2 men burned to death there, burned alive, the Arthur brothers, and so there are some people that are still alive, you know, that they were kids back then, but you know they remember that, and it's a place of horror.
Op 16 september 2008 werd de 24-jarige zwarte man Brandon McClellan langs deze weg doodgevonden. Zijn moordenaars Shannon Finley en Charles Crossley. Ze zouden hun slachtoffer achter hun auto over de weg hebben gesleept tot hij dood was, waarna ze vluchtten. De zaak leidde tot veel opschudding in de VS. De moord deed veel mensen denken aan de lynchpartijen uit de donkerste dagen van raciale tweedeling.
We had a memorial, and that's why the flowers are here. I'm surprised they're still here. This is where his head was found. And he was tall, and so his feet were right there. And but there was a bloodline that went from past the green sign down there to probably past the green sign down that way. And I don't think the investigators, I don't think they did a good job of investigating, because we found skull pieces, money, you know, we collected stuff that, in my opinion, the investigators should have collected. None of his body parts should have been left out here. It's disrespectful, and it's just sloppy. Back in the 60s, you could do whatever you wanted to a black person, and you know, even if you went to trial, you would always be found not guilty. So, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Shannon Finley and Charles Crossley.
We bezoeken een weekeinde georganiseerd door de Ku Klux Klan.
Time to come in, everybody.
Are you sure?
Niet alleen de volwassenen, ook de kinderen zijn uitgenodigd. Ze krijgen een speciaal lesprogramma van een van de leden van de Ku Klux Klan.
Attention. Does anybody know one thing that all those had in common?
Oh, I got an idea.
What one thing did all those battles have in common, yes? God helped them. And what were the people, what were they?
White.
White. And who were they fighting against? Other white people?
Black.
Well, blacks at Oryx Drift, yes, but that's Africans. Mexicans?
Jews.
Persians, which are now Muslims, basically. They weren't back then, because Islam wasn't a religion then. Does everybody know who this guy is? Anybody know anything about him?
He was a general.
He was a general. What else? The first national director of...
The Klux Klan.
Yes, very good, man.
my boys, if he really was fighting against me and not wanting to wear what he's wearing, I wouldn't force him into it. Our mission is to restore our country to what it once was. You know, we should have a white president in office. That's my belief.
De oudere kinderen lezen een lokale krant waarin een artikel staat over het mengen van verschillende rassen op scholen in Arkansas. Het is een belangrijk gespreksonderwerp voor de Klan-kinderen.
The school is starting to integrate and to have other races besides just the white race. They're accepting other races. That's what it says. After 26 years.
So you think times were better when the schools were segregated?
It was much better when schools were segregated. You should be separated so that you can keep your heritage and your culture. Otherwise, I mean, you're losing your racial identity, and that's not good for anybody. That does not mean that.
That doesn't mean I hate blacks.
What does that mean? We encounter them. I mean, we're polite and cordial, but that doesn't mean that we go out of our way to interact and hang out with them and stuff like that. Because I mean, like I said before, as soon as you start interacting with them and playing with them and stuff like that, more things become acceptable. And it's just a slow downhill slope, and you don't notice it until it's already happened.
More things become acceptable, like what?
Well, it used to be where you just had them around and you were friends and you went out and then, well, hey, he's kind of cute. He was kind of flirting with me or something like that.
Mixing.
And then it starts. Then it's race mixing and then everything else comes.
Klan-kinderen, een nieuwe generatie extremisten die een gevaar kan vormen in de toekomst.
Kids who are brought up in the extreme right, you know, very often are the most scary people of all. We have seen many people who are brought up by parents in these extreme right-wing organizations who then go on to become mass murderers, or because, you know, they don't come to the groups because they're angry about the world. They think they're doing absolutely the right thing. They've been told from the time they were tiny little children that this is, you know, God's way, that this is what God wants you to do, and whatever it may be. The Jews are evil, black people are evil. So they're doing it because they think this is what's really good for the world. They think, you know, God is smiling on them.
De moord in Paris lijkt het laatste voorbeeld te zijn van geweld begaan door jongeren die zijn geprogrammeerd met raciale haat. De spanningen lopen op sinds de dood van Brandon McClellan. In het gemeenschapshuis is een bijeenkomst belegd om te voorkomen dat de situatie in het stadje verder verslechtert. De burgerrechtenactiviste Brenda heeft de avond georganiseerd.
We're coming here because we're concerned about our community and race relations. We're looking for the truth.
Iedereen in het stadje geeft inmiddels toe dat er een explosieve sfeer is ontstaan sinds de dood van Brandon.
To admit there's a problem is the number one solution. And so far they haven't really admitted that there's a problem. Then we come up with ways to, you know, fix it. But we're not at that point yet, I don't think.
De verkiezing van Obama heeft de problemen tussen blank en zwart in Amerika niet opgelost. De nieuwe generatie extremisten is nog lang niet bereid de huidskleur van hun president te accepteren.
U keek naar een bijdrage van onze Franse collega's. Als u meer wilt weten over de uitzending van vanavond, kunt u natuurlijk terecht op onze website netwerk.tv. Dit was het voor nu. We zijn er morgen weer. Een hele fijne avond nog. Dag.
Ik ben voor. Ik ben tegen.
Ik ben voor. Ik ben tegen.